causing the symptoms of Alzheimer's, or at least preventing these nerves from talking to each other. But now we're actually looking inside the plaques. And when you take these plaques and you begin to crack them open, you tear them apart.
Talking about Alzheimer's disease and how metals may be linked to being the cause of Alzheimer's.
It could be iron. It could be zinc. This goop attacks those brain cells. It's toxic for them. Sometimes these metals may be working together. Again, they're coming in different forms. And these little bits of goop, when you pull them out and you look inside, they're full of minerals. When they enter into the brain, they make a soup of stuff that you don't want to have in there. And then finally, you'll get some versions of these plaques that are quite different. Now, these may look pretty as I do this here, but they're not very pretty when these break apart inside your brain cells. So at the bar, at what point the normal, healthy amounts of these minerals turn toxic and begin to actually damage your brain?
The difference between the amount that you need, the amount of iron you need, the copper you need, and the
Sorry.
toxic is very, very, very small. And I think for most people, they're really on the knife edge between getting enough and getting too much. Why? Because they're eating the foods that are giving it to them. They're using the copper cookware, the iron cookware. I mean, how many people in this audience have a cast iron pan or copper pan? Did you ever think that maybe this is contributing too much? So it's very easy to get too much, but it's just as easy to recognize the source, change it, and you won't have the problem anymore.
And so what foods are you concerned about? I completely get that if I have a copper pan and it oxidizes, it might be a risk. But there are foods that you're concerned about that I would never have guessed.
Okay, number one, meat. We all grew up with this idea that meat is a good source of iron, and that's true. The problem is it's a little too good of a source. We're getting way too much. Plus, we're getting saturated fat. That's the bad fat, bad for our heart. It also harms the brain. Dairy products, number one source of saturated fat in our diet. And the combination of a high fat diet, high saturated fat, plus high copper, you put those two together, that's the equivalent of 19 extra years of aging. Put it together.
19 years?
19 extra years of cognitive decline as a result of that combination. Number three, and this is going to surprise you, fish. Many people think fish good for the brain. If you take lobster or you take crab, crayfish, loaded with these metals. Plus, I mean, they're living in what is effectively the human sewer, picking up these toxins. And I hate to say it, there are the omega-3s. We've all heard about the good fats, but most of the fat in fish is not omega-3.
And this challenges everything I've ever said on the show. I mean, I've advocated fish, right, to prevent Alzheimer's. I still don't get it.
Well, don't get me wrong. Fish do have omega-3, but that's only 15 to 30% of the fat. The other 70 to 85% of the fat in fish is not omega-3. It's a mixture of the bad fats and other kinds of fats that only fatten you up. They don't do your body any good at all.
You eat fish?
Not at all, not anymore. Believe me, I grew up in Fargo, North Dakota, eating beef, fish, all kinds of things. I don't eat any of it anymore.
So for our audience, because this is, Alzheimer's is one of the things that our viewers write into us really fearful of. And people want to live a long time, but they don't want to live if they don't know that they're living a long time. Would you recommend that our viewers stop eating fish?
Yes, absolutely. I wouldn't say that if there weren't many, many other good, healthy things to eat that don't have the bad fats, that don't have the extra metals that nourish the body.
And what about the mineral levels that are found in multivitamins? We recommend those to folks all the time as well.
It's really a selling point. The vitamins in a multiple vitamin are good. The vitamin A, the vitamin C, the vitamin D, all the B vitamins, that's all good. But they're adding copper, they're adding iron, they're adding zinc that you don't need because you're getting plenty in foods.
So what do you look for?
Well, I'm sorry to say that when you look on the shelf, most of the multiple vitamins have all the metals in them. You've got to look around. You will see some that say vitamins only or mineral free. And they learned this with the vitamins for seniors, that they left out iron. That's a good idea, but they should leave out the copper and the zinc too.
So let me get this straight. Little or no meat, little or no fish. Vitamins without elements.
Keep away from the dairy products as well.
No dairy products. We're not going to have any more of these elements found in our multivitamins, ideally, according to you. So the only source for these are going to be the foods that we actually eat.
Our foods are giving us the iron traces of iron we need, and they're keeping us protected from the excess. The payoff is enormous. Right now, half of Americans develop, or nearly half of Americans develop Alzheimer's by age 85. I want to prevent that. And to prevent that, you only need the traces of metals. If you're overdosing, you're playing Russian roulette with your brain.
So how are we going to prevent Alzheimer's? Is it that easy to get rid of these minerals?
We can do that. We can get the foods that give us the traces that our bodies need without the excess. I can show you how to make it into recipes and menus that the whole family will love. It's easy to do, and all of the side effects are good because these are healthy foods that keep us trim, they keep us active, they give us a low cholesterol.
I'm curious. Coming up, Dr. Barnard's 3-step plan to protect your brain from Alzheimer's.